Hello, everyone. This is Tyler Duckelberger, and welcome back to Plan on Purpose. So today we're here to discuss, should I wait for a market downturn to do a Roth conversion? A Roth conversion, different than a Roth contribution. We are converting traditional IRA 401k monies that is tax deferred, paying the taxes on it, and moving it into a Roth IRA. And you can essentially convert as much money as you want on an annual basis. You just have to pay the taxes as you do that. The benefit is moving money to a Roth IRA makes that money tax-free in the future. So hopefully we're paying less taxes today than we will in the future. A retiree, 73 years old, so that's the magic age right now for required minimum distributions, years while taxes are still cheap. All right, so they've got about $1 million, $930,000 in an IRA. Their income is $119,000 per year, and they're looking to do $20,000 to $25,000 per year in a Roth conversion. Now, another side note on that, as a required minimum distribution, I have a lot of people ask me, hey, if I want to do a Roth conversion, does that satisfy my required minimum distribution? And it does not. So you have to take your RMDs, and then on top of that, you have to do your Roth conversions if that's something you want to do. This is why we recommend looking into this prior to a required minimum distribution age. So we have the facts out of the way. So now let's just kind of look at some of the things and the questions that we go through to find out if it makes sense, how much of it makes sense, and when does it make sense to do a Roth conversions for some of our clients. All right, so market timing versus a tax strategy. So again, one of the things that we're looking at is, are taxes going to be cheaper now than they are in the future? And I think if we poll everybody that's watching this fine video right now, we're probably going to land on the fact that taxes are going to be more expensive in the future. But how much more expensive? And then individually for you, what tax bracket are you going to be in with required minimum distributions? Are you taking RMDs yet? Also, are you in a situation where right now your income is low, you're only taking Social Security, you just retired? That's a great time to start looking at doing Roth conversions, especially with standard deductions as high as they are. The way that I look at it is flip it. When we sit down with our clients, we need to have a tax strategy first. Once we have our tax strategy and we look at the situation, hey, with brackets where they're at right now, with the income that you have, it makes sense for you to do a Roth conversion this year of $25,000. There's our January conversation. So when do we do it? Then it would become market timing. Have a plan in place. Look at where the world is right now. I think one of the things you can easily look at is the Fed is talking about lowering interest rates in the next month. All right, we've had a lot of volatility lately. And so one would say is that if they lower interest rates, the market's going to react positively to that. So is it better to do a Roth conversion right now versus waiting till interest rates decrease? One would probably say yes. Step number one, have the strategy. And then step number two, try and time the market. In the financial world, you're not going to hit bullseyes every single time you shoot. You might come in second place, you might come in third place. The goal is to have a plan and then to enact that plan, knowing that it's not going to be perfect and knowing that, hey, tomorrow I'm not going to second guess what I did yesterday, but this is what we're doing in order for the ultimate end game, the long game, is for us to pay as little taxes as possible on these dollars that we've saved. There are years, like I just pointed out, where you're going to have low income. So in your low income years, that's definitely a time where you're going to want to put this strategy in play. So are you starting a new business? Are you going to have a lot of expenses? Typically when you start a new business, those first couple of years, you're not hitting home runs, you're building, you're establishing. And so that might be a good time for you to convert your IRAs or your 401ks to a Roth. Doesn't matter how old you are, you can convert at any age you want. You're just paying the taxes. Take advantage of those low income years. Again, I ran into folks, about two couples last week, and they were only taking Social Security as an income. They both had great jobs, so their Social Security income was great. They didn't have any house debt. They didn't have any car debt, and their Social Security was enough for them to travel, have fun, live their life, do the things that they wanted to do, like we talked about, doing retirement on purpose. Because standard deductions were high, we started doing Roth conversions for both of those couples. And so then for the next 2 years, we know exactly what we can do from a Roth conversion standpoint. And then when taxes change in 2026, we'll make some adjustments. But the way that they're living their life right now, we can convert a pretty good chunk of money out of their IRAs into a Roth IRA, and that's definitely going to change things for them in the future. It will make RMDs easier to absorb, and overall, it's going to put them in a better situation. They're going to pay very, very little taxes. Really, we're just maxing out the 12% bracket for them. And so 12%, getting IRA money out at 12% is a fantastic opportunity. So look for those low income years when you're putting this strategy together. The market, we've got to hit on this. Market's been very, very volatile. I mean, the reality is the market's been wildly volatile since 2018. So timing the market can be difficult. We've had some volatility here as of late. And those are situations when you have your tax strategy and your plan in place, you know that when we have a wild pullback like we had a couple weeks ago, take advantage of it. Do some conversions at that point. The question that most people ask is like, well, if I wait for this market downturn, I'm going to be able to get more shares out and get more shares tax-free. And then overall, as those shares recover, my Roth is going to grow faster. And that's wonderful. That's what we want to help you do. But I really, truly believe that the most important thing is getting money to the tax-free environment. And if you can time the market and that is a little bit more of a benefit to you, then we're going to help you do that. We think it's important, but we don't necessarily think it's the most important thing. You'll talk to some folks out there. You'll see some folks on the internets, because the internet has all the answers. We'll go split approach. And when you see this, essentially what they're saying is, hey, at the beginning of the year, we're going to do some conversions. And then after that, we're going to try and time the market and figure out when the best opportunity is to convert the rest of it. Again, this just comes back to is have your plan in place. So when we see some pullbacks in the market, that's a good opportunity for you to do some conversions. Next thing I'm looking at is the cost. All right, so all the other videos you may have watched is if we're converting IRA money to Roth money, this has implications in regards to Social Security, depending on when you do it, has implications on Medicare. If we have over $206,000 in income, you're going to pay more in your Medicare. So there can be a domino effect in your Roth conversion. And so may I repeat myself again? This is why when we go into January, February, we're sitting down and having that first meeting of the year, we're looking at a strategy and a plan so that we don't make these big mistakes. I would say for the vast majority of people, it's not going to make sense to do a massive Roth conversion and just convert all of your IRA to a Roth IRA. I've seen it done. It's kind of one of those things where they're ripping the Band-Aid off. So again, it's an individual decision on what you want to do. Most important thing when understanding the cost of a Roth conversion is have a plan. Work with your advisor, work with your CPA. If you don't have those things, reach out to us, sit down with us, and we'll put a plan together so that we know going into through the rest of the year, we're going to have a plan in place to do conversions as we find it necessary. And I'm sure one thing that you guys all love to talk about, the election. Now, we aren't necessarily focusing on the election to have a massive impact on what's going to happen in the market, but you will see some movement. So it's one of those things where I think that the Fed moving interest rates is probably going to be a bigger impact on the market than the election is. But I've been wrong before. We'll see what this election brings and we'll see how it all plays out. But again, if I'm looking today, I'm looking to get Roth conversions done before they start lowering interest rates, because I think that's going to bring the market up. Overall, end all, be all. Here's what I want to review. Market timing versus a tax strategy. Have a tax strategy so that you can have, so then you have the opportunity to time the market when you need to. In low income years, especially your first couple of years in retirement, take advantage of it because you have a plan, you're able to do that. The market's going to be the market. You know, it's one of those things where news will push it in a certain direction, but if you have a plan in place, you could take advantage of that market movement. A split is just a strategy. We're going to do some in the beginning of the year, and then throughout the rest of the year, we're going to just start doing conversions. Know the costs up front so that you know it's no surprise. Hey, we need to withhold 12% in taxes in order for us to do this conversion. The election. What's that going to do to the market? None of us know right now. Time to tell. But again, we're not necessarily looking at the election as being a huge needle mover in the market. Have your plan in place. We always focus on our plan on purpose, right? Have a plan on purpose so that you can retire with purpose. Do the things that you love to do with the people you love to do them with. Folks, I'm Tyler Dunkelberger. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me this morning. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.